Can you hear me?
Oh my gosh. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. Well, that is the first goal that has been covered then. We have established connection, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. We are back. We are back with what's going on? What time is it, big boy?
Oh, you know. Oh, you know. It's that thing we called what's it called again?
I can't remember. You're gonna have to remind me.
Oh snap! It's that ooh, lele. You're live with big boy. Ooh, with the good boy, Professor X. Guess we keeps it real, very real, so real that you don't need no silicone.
It's so real at times. We almost need an M rating for mature. So what's going on, man? How you been?
We're having 2 days off of work.
Oh, you had 2 full days off of hell?
Yeah, it's different. It's weird.
Goes back to what we talked about way back in the day. You get used to a routine, and when that routine gets interrupted, it's like, what do I do with myself?
Yeah, I hung out with Paris and took care of some stuff, and that's about it. So, you know.
Well, I I got tomorrow off, so I get 2 days. Well, day and a half. I had to
that's
work.
good.
I had to work half a shift earlier, but that was all good.
Well, on Saturday.
Oh no, I worked a full shift Saturday. I worked a half a shift today.
Oh shoot! So you gotta take a day off since they want me paying, double time. Are you
Well,
working for? Why are you working for double time?
yeah, I did, but it was one of those things where it was like, yeah, I'll absolutely approve your time. I'm like, oh, of course you will. It's a Monday, and you don't want me to go into the 2-week pay period. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, no, don't want that 13-day stretch paycheck because then you got to fork over more money than you want.
Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is. I digress. I got off in enough time to still get back and uh, watch the Super Bowl. And, got up with enough time before I went in today to make sure that the internet connection that I had here at the house was fully reestablished. Our cord got chewed through by a squirrel, and got with all the snow and everything had some weathering damage to it, and they had to come out early this morning and replace the cord, rechange the entire cord that was running to the house. So that was fun, especially when I'm not uh, waiting on it or banking on it. Phone to call technical support, and I opened my door standing in my boxers to smoke a cigarette because I'm awake, and there's the internet guy standing right there looking at me in my boxers. That was fun.
I bet.
I mean, I put my coat on.
Well, still.
It wasn't like my guy was coming out.
Well, that's good. Don't want to scare nobody.
No, I didn't want to, but also I didn't want him to point and laugh at the fact, as cold as it is outside, I've got an innie where there's supposed to be an outie.
Yeah, those belly buttons, man. I tell you, they can freaking make you feel bad.
Look, it has been so cold lately. My nuts have retreated into my ass crack. And I feel like a drug dealer having to squat and cough to get those things to come back out.
Oh my goodness. Man. Man, it's so cold outside. I seen geese on the frozen lake tap dancing.
Now, that's the thing you didn't catch then. It wasn't geese on the lake tap dancing. Those were penguins. You're just not used to seeing penguins. That was those
penguins that can actually fly.
Yeah. Those penguins from Madagascar. They made their way from Madagascar all the way here.
Just smile and wave. Just smile and wave.
Cute and cuddly, boys. Cute and cuddly.
Oh, my team wasn't too bad at the Super Bowl. It was a very defensive game. Notice that?
Yeah. I was going to ask you about that. Did you get a chance to watch it?
Yeah, most of my parents saw me watched it. Had some chili, had some 7-layer salad, salmon croquettes.
Ooh.
And,
oh my God.
And watched the game, and and
you got the foodie in me just jumping for joy when you said salmon croquettes.
Man,
I'm like,
that with some hot sauce on it. Oh Lord, man, I'm about to get out of my bed right now, and after this podcast, go get some more. Shoot, and fried chicken. Shoot,
I have to take an early commercial break just so I can relieve myself with all that good talk.
Hey, guess what?
What's up?
Hey, you got a new sponsor, you know that?
I was online earlier briefly, and I thought I saw something, but who's this new sponsor we got?
Oh, it's called Terra Jersey Fits, the clothing design company. Brought to you by Terra Jersey Enterprise.
Man, we got Terra Jersey Photography, Terra Jersey Fits, and Terra Jersey Enterprises now. Man, we're moving up.
Moving on up
to the east side.
Moving on up. He looks apartment in the sky. Moving on up. Man, yo, what do you think about that halftime show? Man, I felt like I was a kid again.
Bro, I was getting ready to get to that. Like, I'm telling you right now, I straight up felt like dude from Malibu's Most Wanted. Like I was that young thug again for a minute. I'm not gonna lie. I was getting down. I was getting
Snoop Dogg was up there. I was trying to do the sea walk, but it ended up being the Boris walk.
I was trying to do a sea walk, but it turned into an old man waddle.
Yeah, basically. I felt good though.
Oh, I felt good, man. I was jumping in my spirit and everything like that. Like I was like, yeah, this is good. About the only part of that about the only part of that halftime show I was disappointed with was Kendrick Lamar, man. Like he didn't really do that much. I also thought it was kind of crazy that Eminem only got to do one song.
Yeah, a lot of people were online talking about that. How the Eminem only did one song, and they're talking about how but I'm gonna say Kendrick Lamar was like one of the best ones up there. But I see a funny post on there. It's free car guys out there. They say when other people see it, they show the whole halftime show, but car guys see the guy on top of the car.
Right.
Man, what kind of disappointed me though?
They
didn't have none of the cars on the hydraulics. Like, you would think that's like a West Coast thing. Like,
yeah,
none of the cars are on hydraulics and stuff.
Yeah, they had a few riders, but they didn't if it had hydraulics, they didn't mess with it or anything like that. I will say this though. I really enjoyed that setup though.
Yeah.
Because like usually in Super Bowls past and everything like that, it's just this giant flat out stage that's beat out, and it's like you're gonna go through all this and you're gonna cycle all these songs and you're gonna do all these songs. Like I like the fact that their stage was like literally buildings. It was cool.
being an older lady, Mary J still got it going on, boy. She still be looking good.
Oh dear God. I looked at I looked at my buddy tonight during the halftime show, and I was like, you know what? I was like, she could absolutely crush my head with those thighs. Dear God, what a way to go!
Oh man, I tell you one thing though, I like
Mary J still does it for me, man. Mary J still does
I
it for
tell
me.
you, I know,
I'm like,
man.
let's get it crunk before that. I'm like, yeah, girl.
A lot of people were saying like 50 Cent turned to $1.50 with his part because back in the day he was like kind of big, and now he's like, well, I guess the power money's really working out,
bro. He was straight up 1/4 pounder away from being bizarre in that video that that they did. When I saw that bizarre meme, D12 bizarre from D12 when they did that, and he did that scene where he was being 50 in the song. I was just like, God. I was like, you are literally 1/4 pounder away from being that dude. It's a good thing, you still got those arms and shoulders that you do. Otherwise, they'd be like, holy crap, $1.50. Where you been?
Man, I tell you, man, I like that way they did that. I wish they would have had like some other cast, like LL Cool J in there, or like having like Warren G, But it was still
LL didn't run with that West Coast crew though. Like if you notice who they had for the show, it was literally like the crews that started it, then it was the proteges that followed, and then it was just Kendrick Lamar. He was like pretty much the only solid entity that stood out.
Did you notice that? Because Snoop Dogg acquired Death Row Records. He had a Death Row Records chain on.
Right.
And what was funny about that, it showed a picture of Suge Knight in the courtroom looking like this is a look you get when you're watching the halftime show.
I saw one person posted, man, I thought when Dre broke into California Love that they were getting ready to bring Pac out. And I'm like, I don't really know how that would work unless they dug up his casket,
No, they did it. They did a show before. They did his hologram. And I'm telling you, it looked just like he was there. Like literally, it was just like he was literally there. Like those holograms this is an old one. Like you're looking up on YouTube and type in like hologram, Tupac holograms, and man, you don't think he was actually there. Even the Michael Jackson when they did that in the hologram, it was just like that. It was good. Yeah. So I mean, but enough of the halftime show. It was epic as ever.
Hold on. One more plug. I got to throw this out there about the show. Is it not still amazing to you that 30 years later, Snoop Dogg still sounds the exact same?
Bro.
Live is what he does.
It still darn near looks the same. I want to really kind of change like looks wise is Eminem a little bit, and Dr. Dre. I think they've got bigger, but Eminem's still kind of the same size. But Snoop Dogg,
Eminem actually looks like he's in his mid-40s now.
Right.
Like, that dude has not aged, but fucking Snoop Dogg kills me, bro. That motherfucker's in his 50s, and like, I mean, other than the fact I know he was stoned off his mind. It kills me. Like his sound has never deviated. Like it's always sounded the exact same. I've seen him live a few times in my life, and I've listened to quite a few of his albums, and it's like I've never met another artist who sounds exactly like they sound on the album. Like, it's crazy.
You know, another thing that's crazy, that's a factoid of the After show. They said that Mary J. Blige and Eminem combined was celebrating 25 months or 25 months sober.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. They had come where they had come from, where they had come from, and battled addiction, these things, and then still managed to get to the places where they are now. I thought that was pretty cool. It's kind of cool for them to throw out that testimonial, you know, so to speak, that them giving their own little personal testimonial of their struggles. And you know, it's not like if you didn't grow up in the era and you didn't know it, and you didn't see him and you didn't follow him in music, you know, you don't know. But for those of us that did, you know, the press was all over, you know, their quote unquote fall from grace. You know, when M got into his addiction with pills and everything, and Mary J with her alcoholism, like TMZ and things like that, man, they were just all over that crap. And of course, everybody knows
our society wants to capitalize on our downfalls, not our successes.
Right. But everybody knows where Dre and Snoop came from. Like, the fact that Dre came from Compton, and he is Dre, and he said something in the pregame interview. I was watching that because, you know, I just thought it was cool as shit. He said something in the pregame interview where it was like, you know, if I see something that I want, if I see something that you have and I want it, I'm going to go out and go get it for myself. You know, if I see, I'm going to go get it because that's who I am. You're not going to hold me back. You're not going to keep me down. You're not going to stop me from doing my thing. If I see it and I want it, I'm going to go get it. And I was like, man, that's really powerful. You know, like, it's really powerful to get to a point like that in your life where it's like, you know what, man, it doesn't matter. No, it just don't matter. It don't matter what you think about me, what so and so thinks about me, what this that
group.
Yeah,
that's a good point, though. I mean, like I said, that's just a lesson in life. You know, something you can't always expect for it to be imitated, because then you really appreciate as much as you do. And that's why people mistake him and stuff, you know, like, I'm trying to earn everything I can on my own, you know what I'm saying? Yes, I have a support system to where if I need help, I have that, which a lot of people don't have, which I'm blessed to have. But I don't want that to be something that I rely on, you know?
Right. It's one thing to have a support system.
Still with me?
It's, Can you hear me? I'm here. Can you hear me?
That's right, everybody. Thank you for listening to the podcast. This is your boy, Big Boy. This podcast is brought to you and sponsored by Terra Jersey Enterprise. Terra Jersey Enterprise will hook you up with some custom shirts. Also, Terra Jersey Photography, capturing your moments of today to make them last for a lifetime. But like I said, this podcast is brought to you by Terra Jersey Enterprise.
Oh no, we're back after a commercial break. This is your boy, only keeping it real with the boy, Big Boy Live. You know, that Black Lavender bringing that sexual chocolate. Sorry, people. Hey, and we have Professor X.
Wow. Great epic plug for you. And then you're like, yeah, and then there's this fucker.
Hold on. Let me redo that. And we have the Italian stallion. Ooh. Yes, sir.
X-rated. There you go. All right. I like that. You know, I'm going to tell you something. Something happened at work the other day, and I didn't get a chance to see you and find you to let you know. But I thought, you know, I got a kick out of it whenever it's done.
What you yelling? What you yelling at me?
No. I didn't get a kick out of that. That's just part of our relationship. You know, we love each other as people, but we clash a little bit as coworkers.
Well, you know, you got a perfect example of help, though. You know.
No, but no, we were at work the other day, and you had gotten on the intercom, and you had made one of those radio voice Big Boy Live pages over the intercom, and one of the people that was working on my line looked up at me, and he was like, "Dude, I'm telling you right now, that dude should be in radio." He says, with the way his voice sounds, he's like, "It just sounds freaking awesome like that." And I was like, what? I'm like, we kind of are on radio. I'm like, he kind of is in radio already, you know.
Well, you know what we need to do, though, right, man? We need to get, some business cards, put the podcast, information on, so people can scan it and go straight to it.
I think if we do one of them business cards and put a QR code on it that links directly to our website.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And that would also speak to the fact that we are keeping up with the modern times and the tech age and everything like that. Because I know you're a techie, and I'm kind of Stone Age, and you're kind of bringing me along into the tech era.
Well, I'm trying, trying to build my empire.
I got my first lesson from you in cryptocurrency the other day, so I was like, oh, okay.
I mean, I could give you some of that information. I can get you right step in investing, man.
Right. You're sitting there talking about stuff like that, and to me, I'm just sitting here like crickets chirping in my head. I'm like, okay, Japanese algebra. You know, it's pretty much the same equivalency.
But that's the thing about. Oh, Jake, here it comes. Here's one of my lectures.
Oh, I hear a rant coming.
Oh my goodness. It's just like a thing about when you meet somebody. Iron sharpens iron. When you have somebody that knows something that you can learn from, you capitalize on that because there's always an exchange, I may know this, but you may know that. So it's kind of like a barter system of information. No one's really going to take advantage of it. Actually, you're actually learning from each other. So yeah, it's kind of like a barter system. And they're like, man, you know that? Well, check this out. So you kind of get exchange information because knowledge is powerful,
Right.
So,
what is the greatest way you can arm yourself in this day and age? Knowledge, right?
I was watching a thing online, and it's one of the financial people. He said, if you're not trying to figure out ways that you can do something to not only make you money, but also build your future, and all you're doing is just follow the same path that everyone else is doing. If you're going to go out there and have a high-tech phone and this and that, you need to be doing stuff for that phone that makes you money, or make you some kind of passive income to where it's not just there just to, be there.
So, yeah,
So
I agree. You know, that's a really good point. Before we got cut off by the commercial break earlier, I was in the middle of saying something and you were starting to respond to it, so I'm going to repeat it again. That way you can get that response in, because I think it was going to be pretty awesome.
right.
We was talking about, you know, how the big Snoop Dogg, how he's just one of those people. He just sounds the same on an audio as he does live, and it's like 30 years later, you know, he still sounds the same. And God, out of everything I saw in the halftime show tonight, honestly, Snoop Dogg was my favorite. Like he was just on it again from the get-go. The outfit he had on, that setup, and the way he was just owning that stage. Once again, you know, you could look across the stage when Dre was on the opposite side of the stage with him, and you could just see Dre looking at him and smiling, going, "Man, this MFer still got it." You know, this MFer still got it. He has still got this stuff strong, and it was just, man, it was a privilege to watch. It was fun to watch. Definitely, I'm not going to say it was the best ever, like a lot of people have, because I've seen, you know, 20, 25 Super Bowl performances in my lifetime. But
nothing tops the Prince and Michael Jackson.
Oh man, that was absolutely amazing. But yeah, I just enjoyed it. It was the best one they've had in the last several years.
Right.
And I was happy. I was happy that I got home in enough time to see it and witness it and be a part of it. You know, I didn't have to look at it through YouTube or look it up on ESPN or whatever. You know, I got to see it live myself, and that was pretty awesome. Like I said, I just wish that, you know, that Eminem would have done another song, because he just had so many good ones, you know. And if you look at the list, I didn't see 50 Cent's name on the headliners anywhere. Did you?
No, I didn't.
Nah, and he just dropped in from the ceiling, you know, and gave his little In the Club rendition. And I'm like, well, if you're going to do that for 50, you know, if you're going to do that for 50, you know, why in the world are you not throwing out, you know, homage to the surviving members of D12, you know, having what the crap names? Oh, Lloyd Banks and Young Buck joined 50, you know, little G Unit tribute or something like that, you know, because they all came from that same kind of protege line.
Right.
You know, Dre discovers M discovers 50 brings G Unit together. Lloyd Banks wasn't really well known, but, you know, Young Buck was, God, who was he? Cash Money. He was with Cash Money already at that point.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the thing about this, sit here and voice our opinions on what they can change in, what they should have done, or this and that, but I just have though, you know.
I'd have been okay if they brought in Rihanna.
Huh?
I'd have been okay if they brought in Rihanna and Em and Rihanna did their song together.
Now we're trying to do a little issue with the Queen.
Well, I don't know. Maybe the stage wasn't big enough for the two of them. I don't know.
But yeah, that's it. All in all, the halftime show. That was the rating. I give it an 8.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's a good solid ranking. That was definitely a solid 8.5 out of 10.
Right. So I'm glad we could agree on that one. But as the ranking on the Super Bowl as well, I'm about to go with the 7 on that one because it was a good game defensively, but I just feel like the excitement wasn't there.
Yeah. Yeah, I also, that's something else we can agree on. I was sitting there, watching it, and I'm like, this got hyped up to be this epic game. Like, it really got hyped up. This was going to be something awesome. Although, don't get me wrong, I absolutely did enjoy the fact of seeing 2 number 1 overall draft picks who just happened to wear the exact same football jersey, happened to be the exact same position, just on opposite sides of the field, going head to head at each other. I'll tell you what, I'm not so sure that both of those dudes ain't having surgery after this game, because that play where Stafford got rolled up on by Reddy, that's a 348-pound man that twisted that foot completely in a direction that it's not supposed to go. Stafford stayed in the game. And then
I feel like I feel like as long actually kind of reminds me of like an Eli Manning kind of caliber quarterback. Like, he wasn't like the best, but he's still good. And he won one. I'm glad to see Odell back in one.
Although that really sucked. That really sucked because I'm pretty sure he tore his ACL again. And he was fixing to get a big ass contract with the way he's been playing in the last 7-8 games of the year. He was fixing to get his money again. I'm very sad for Odell in that front, but I'm also very happy that he finally got a ring. I would have to disagree with you on the Eli Manning comparison to Matt Stafford, though, because Eli was with the New York Giants, and New York is a very prestigious football franchise, very football-oriented history. Like, these guys are known for defense, and they've had some of the greatest defenses throughout the years and history of football, as opposed to the fact that freaking Matt Stafford was for 12 years in Detroit. Matt Stafford had one good player that he ever played with his whole time in Detroit, and that was Megatron.
What I'm getting at is he's like one of those quarterbacks where, I'm just gonna be real with you. I felt like watching that game was like watching the regular season game. Because it was, you didn't see like your high caliber teams playing like how you see like watching Buccaneers or Green Bay or
up until you're exactly right. Up until the last 2 minutes of that game, it was very much a regular season game. When Stafford and Cooper Kupp on that drive, just the two of them, they literally went just the two of them, punching into the end zone to give the Rams the lead. And then Aaron Donald and the defense stepped up and they made the stop that they needed to.
I wish they would have gave MVP to Aaron Donald.
I'm telling you what, dude, I'm not going to be surprised if Aaron Donald retires, because he was talking about it. He said if he was talking about going out on top. He's only been in the league 8 years. That dude still got a good 5 to 6 years of football left in him. And it would be,
I'm mad about that because I was able to get logged into my FanDuel account. I bet $20 on MVP because that would have been like $700. And when they gave it a code.
You know why Cooper Kupp got that MVP?
Talk to the last the 2 touchdowns he had.
Not only that,
And
but
he broke the record.
Go ahead. Oh, he got it because of the regular season that he had.
Right.
Triple crown in receiving, and then he caps it all off with a Super Bowl victory. Literally,
Right.
he Stafford made the pass, but he made the catch. And he caught 2 in this game. And the Bengals played a really good defensive scheme the entire game where they had him pretty much on lockdown the whole time.
Right.
And then conveniently got better for them whenever Odell went down with that injury because Odell caught the first touchdown pass. And Odell was looking like he was going to have a 150-yard game the way he was playing. When he pulled up Gimp on that route, I honestly believe that Odell getting injured is the reason why that game was not more of a blowout. Although I will say this, little shout out to 2 guys that I love watching. I watch them religiously every day, watch them every night after I get home from work. I always got to get my sports talk in, always got to get my radio shows in. Undisputed with Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless. I'm telling you right now, I got to give a shout out to that because Shannon Sharp literally said that the score was going to be 24-21, and it was 23-20. Like, you don't get much closer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I just thought that, it was I thought it was a very, very well-played game. I agree with you. It had a lot of regular season feel to it. It didn't feel like the Super Bowl. I literally felt like the NFC Championship game and the AFC Championship games between the Bengals and the Chiefs and the Niners and the Rams were the Super Bowl because those games were better than the Super Bowl was. And I'm not trying to, take anything away from the Super Bowl. I think I think you're right, though. That was me taking that long roundabout approach that I do to say, hey, you're right. It was a regular season game until the last 2 minutes of the game, and then it turned into the Super Bowl.
Right.
I hope and I pray that Aaron Donald doesn't retire, though, because it's going to be real sad. It's going to be a real sad day for football that a guy retires again this young in the middle of his prime. It's got very Barry Sanders written all over it again, and I just enjoy defense so much. Don't get me wrong, I love a good touchdown pass. I love a high-powered offense, but I've always been a defensive-minded person. Basketball, baseball, football, doesn't matter. Like, if the defense is just that stout, like, that's the team that I'm going to want to win just because I like watching that defense, And I think maybe not this year. They were probably better a couple of years ago. But I would say if you go back a couple of years ago whenever they played the Patriots in the Super Bowl, a little bit younger, I think maybe talent-wise they were a little bit better with the addition of Von Miller on the defense. But I think those Rams defense could, be etched in as like maybe, the number 10 defense of all time. Now, don't get me wrong. You're going to have people that are, always going to debate this and they're always going to have their own opinion and this, that, and the other. But, people are always going to say that the greatest defense of all time was the 2002 Ravens or the 1985 Chicago Bears or the 1989 San Francisco 49ers. There's just several cases that can be made for that. But I think that the Rams defense was very stellar. And I did enjoy watching the defensive battle. And I did enjoy watching them step up and make all the stops and everything that they did. Like, they came to play today. Cincinnati came to play.
Right, it is. I mean, it's a good game. Like I said, it just feel like the hype was there, which made I think what made the hype for that Super Bowl, this year's Super Bowl, was the halftime show, and but also too, it was good. It was hype, seeing knowing the fact that you're going to see Brady in the Super Bowl, or you're not going to see Mahomes in the Super Bowl. You're not going to see these bigger name quarterbacks that you normally see. And here it is, these two guys that they're not count for other Brady and count for other Mahomes, but you got something different. So I feel like it was a good. I mean, it was a good game for the regular people.
Mm-hmm.
So
I will say this though, something that I laughed at, and I looked at my buddy at the end of the Super Bowl, and I pointed it out. I said, I think it's kind of weird that Matt Stafford spent 12 years in Detroit. His very first year he comes to Los Angeles, he helps take them to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl. They don't even let the man talk on the podium. Like, he didn't get to say anything about the Super Bowl. It was literally the owner, and then it was Sean McVay, and then it was Cooper Kupp because he won the MVP. They didn't even let Stafford or Aaron Donald talk after the game. And I was like, what the literally, I was like, what the hell? Because it's like, man, this dude has more than paid his dues. Like, how the heck do you want to be a quarterback in Detroit? Go to a team, win a Super Bowl, and not even get a nod to say, oh my gosh, I'm so happy that I finally got this. I'm so happy that I got into the market and with a squad that was going to protect me, that wanted me to win, that put me in the best position to win, where I was able to be the best version of myself. Now, don't get me wrong. He was still Matt Stafford. He still threw, 18 interceptions on the season. He threw one in the Super Bowl. But it's still – or no, wait, he threw two in the Super Bowl. 3 touchdowns, 2 picks.
Right. I see a funny thing on there. It's so funny. He said Eminem was. He said Detroit went to the Super Bowl with Eminem.
Right. Detroit hasn't done anything relevant in football outside of Barry Sanders since freaking Dickie Lane in the 50s.
All right.
They got rid of Dickie Lane, and Dickie Lane said Detroit will never win another championship because of the way that y'all did me. You're looking at 58 years later after that man said that. 58 years later, Detroit is still irrelevant when it comes to football.
Well, that's what happened. But like I said,
thank God Detroit has had the Pistons 3 times to win championships.
No, it would have been crazy if I tell you, what's your opinion on the stadium?
Do what?
What's your opinion on the stadium?
On the stadium?
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. SoFi is one of the most technologically advanced stadiums in the league. It's a $5 billion facility, and good God, it's pretty. It's pretty. My buddy and I were watching it, and looks over at me. It's like, you see all these celebrities here? And I said, yeah. I bet each one of them is in their own VIP suite. I'm like, yeah. There's a freaking hotel built into that stadium, dude. Like, how do you do this?
Hey, that's LA for you, though.
That is. Yada, da, da, da. It's the motherfucking D-O-double-G Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg. But yeah, man. Like I said, it was good.
Running with the big boy
It was a
live.
decent Super Bowl. It was decent.
Anyway, we got back on that subject. We're gonna pause real quick for a commercial break and a word from our sponsors. And when we come back, we're gonna dive back into the tech conversation that you started, and we're gonna go from there. All right, we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Oh, delay.
Oh, delay way.
And we're back to the show. The Big Boy Live podcast.
So, quick little recap for any of our listeners that are just now tuning in. We've been talking the big game. We've been talking tech. We've been talking the halftime show. And now we're going to get back onto the tech topic, and we're going to let a big boy take off on that rant that he was ready for earlier. He kind of built it up and let me down. He went on a 2-minute rant that I thought was going to be an 8-minute rant at least. So tell us what's on your mind.
What the technical aspect of things? What the
Yeah, that's what you was touching on, and you only got like 2 minutes and you stopped yourself.
Well, refresh my memory because I'm old.
Well, never mind. About you and I about had a real life moment in the middle of the podcast, and I caught myself. About calling you one of them names I call you in person. Oh man. No, you was just you was talking about tech, and you was talking about things that have been going on. I actually was like, holy crap, he brought up a tech comment, us not talking. I was going to ask you, did you see that Elon Musk yesterday went over the $1 trillion mark?
No, I did not see that.
Yeah, him and Bezos are trillionaires now.
Man, that's crazy. Dude. Like, that's like, the name they got right now. I think I saw someone that they give single American like $100,000 or $200,000, and they'll still have billions of dollars left.
Bro, there's 7 billion people. 7 billion people in the world. If the two of them together gave $1 billion to every person on the planet, they would still be 10 times more rich than everybody else. And oh, look, poverty cured, world hunger's cured, everything. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of people who don't have that money and they have it, they'd run out and blow it and they'd run themselves back into the ground again real quick. But the gesture and everything is there. You know what I mean? You're going to have these seminars and you're going to preach about world peace and world preservation and all this stuff. And you've actually got the money to back it up and you still don't do it. That just goes back to, human greed.
Right. No, that's the one thing that's not taught. It's financial education. I mean, it's not taught. You're taught, like I read the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, by Robert Kiyosaki, or Kiyosaki, I can never pronounce his name right. But the system teaches you, to not have no financial education. That's the problem. The school systems don't teach you that stuff. I mean, some school systems are doing it now. That's why, like, athletes and stuff get all that money, and then they go broke after they retire because they don't have enough financial education and sense, or just celebrities in general. I mean, so it all goes with the mindset. I mean, that's what the problem is. Like, the world doesn't want you to be knowledgeable. The world wants you to be unknowledgeable, so they can just.
No, We want you to be a success, but we want you to be a success on our terms so we can still control you.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what it boils down to. But I know you're a big tech guy, so I'm going to ask you a question. Just kind of educate the listeners a little bit. What is it that Elon Musk is so well known for? What are some of the technological developments and things that he's brought to the world? Like I know Bezos' story in and out. But I've just learned about Elon Musk over the last couple of years. So for those of us who aren't as fully educated, can you tell us what we're looking at with this guy?
He's the one. He was the one that started Tesla, a Tesla car company. Electric vehicles. He's one of the pioneers of EV vehicles. And not only that, with the EV, he's doing so much stuff. Like now, he's making rockets. Shooting in space for Skynet and satellite systems, and now, the solar panel. The solar panel system, he's working with that for the solar panel power, and now Tesla is gonna have a cell phone. They're releasing their cell phone pretty soon. That's gonna be ran off of Skynet. All these different satellites that's in space and stuff, to the point where you can control your car with it and everything. You can literally take your car, move your car. You can literally drive your car with your phone, and it's basically the technology aspect of what he's doing is crazy, and it's borderline scary. It's very borderline kind of scary too, because he's doing some amazing things, but some of the stuff that he's doing, man, is kind of sketchy,
Right.
But the thing about Elon Musk is nothing. He was borrowing money here and there, and he just never gave up on it. And now look at him now.
Right. Sometimes the greatest success stories are the ones that have the most failures in them.
Exactly. I mean, yeah.
So, okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense then why he's worth so much money.
So, I mean, it's just, like, you got people out there mad at people that are rich and famous and stuff, but 70% of them were always like that. They had to grind and had to do all this stuff to get to that point. If people actually was to research these people and find out how they got to where they're at, then they don't understand that, okay, I can't be mad at this guy for being with it because he actually worked for it. Like you said, Jeff Bezos, he started off in his garage.
Yep.
Look at him now. So, well, that's the problem. We sit there and want to judge people at a current state. We don't take the time to get to know who they really are and where they come from and what they had to get there to where they, are now. Everybody wants instant gratification, instant success.
Right. And I think that touches on part of what we were talking about. I made the comment about how, you have all this money, and if you would just give a little bit of it to people, it would fix a lot of things. But however, you could have that money, but it's not going to change the nature of who you are as a person.
It's like you're just enabling. It's like
right. Exactly.
It's like our current government, with the stimulus checks and all stuff. Wants to work and stuff. Like, yes, it was good to help out for the time frame that was needed, but it ultimately hurt us in the long run because nobody wants to do anything now.
Well, can I just throw out something glaringly obvious from today's events and get your opinion on it? I want you to know, and I want you to understand, and I want you to realize what I observed today while watching the Super Bowl. I saw pretty much 70,000 people crammed into a stadium, and very, very few, if any, masks are being worn. So if that's the case around 70,000 people, we ain't got to worry about a mask mandate and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And what the hell? Can we not take them off at work and just be normal again?
Bro, that is the one thing that I've noticed for a long time. If you go to a stadium, you go to a concert, be elbows to butt cracks to everybody and not wearing a mask. But as soon as you go on the airplane, you gotta have a mask on. Like, it don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? And that's and making our kids wear masks in school, but it's okay for, like you said, you cram to a stadium. It's all about money. It's all about where it showed a picture of somebody giving an interview, and then doing all this social distancing and stuff. As someone took a picture of them they're and all that stuff, like, really? Yeah, man. Media is what's the problem?
Well, yeah, I agree. I think a lot of times the media has a tendency to overhype or oversimplify a lot of things that are going on. But I don't know. It's just like, it's okay for 70,000 people to be crammed into a stadium with no mask. But we're literally going to bitch and complain about the rest of the country who's working, and people aren't wearing their masks, and they're not doing this and that. And oh, well, you have to have a mask to get on a plane. Well, you have to have a mask to get on a plane because you're in a lot more close quarters and a lot more close proximity type of shit. And while that makes sense to a degree, when you got 70,000 people in one building, don't sit there and tell me ain't one of them mugs showed up that didn't have COVID. You know what I mean? I got these Super Bowl tickets 6 months ago. They ain't no way, no matter what happens, I'm missing the game. And you got people that are going there.
It's about money. About money.
Right.
It's about money, because you tell people you have to wear a mask at a Super Bowl game or a football game. How much money that people that stay to lose?
Right.
So it's a lower money scale than it is an airplane or you know what I'm saying? It's a lower money scale than what it is an airplane or the actual stadium. There's a lot of expenses involved there. Man, the people working, the players, the concessions, the power grid. I mean, what's the trade-off there? I'm gonna sit there and lose millions and millions of dollars, or I'm just gonna say, hey, you're only right. It's no risk, So.
Right. That's kind of what it feels like. It kind of feels like you're sitting down at a craps table. You're just going to roll the dice, and you're gambling with, your life, your own security, your own well-being. It's kind of weird how that plays out at times.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong. I understand. Go ahead.
It's different. It's different when kind of like the tables are in your turn where you can make them, where you're in charge of your own life. It's like that when there's a lot of money involved, but when it comes to using common sense, like if it makes sense, then it's a little different.
Oh, be easy. Be easy.
What?
You be easy. You said that common sense phrase. We know that common sense isn't required in most places.
All right. I mean, it is. I mean, it's just how it is. This is very commonly used.
That's because it's hilarious. People preach so much about common sense and lack thereof, and this, that, and the other, and they complain about people that they think or feel do not have common sense. But if we're so willing to just completely accept things for how they are and just be blindly led around by our governing officials who are telling us how we should and shouldn't live, it's one thing when you're doing it for the well-being of the population. It's another thing when you're doing it because you're trying to control the population.
Right. Yeah. I mean, basically,
I think a lot of that stuff, years later, like, don't get me wrong, I know COVID was real. I had COVID myself. And it absolutely kicked my rear end. So, I know it was absolutely real. But it's like 3 years, 2 years, 3 years removed from COVID, and it's still one of the biggest topics in our society. It's like, I'm not saying that it went away. I'm not saying that everybody is now immune to the virus because, everybody needs to get this vaccine because it will protect you from the virus. And then all of a sudden you find out that people who got the vaccine are still getting COVID because now there is a quote unquote new strand of the virus that has come out. And this is COVID Delta, the Delta strain. And it's like, well, what's different?
Well, the thing is, man, is that they find more and more things. And once people are getting over things and like they're not scared no more, then they gotta make something else up to try to scare people again. It's just like going to amusement park. Go to an amusement park that's 100 years old and have the same kind of scares, you know what I'm saying? And this like new people going in there. They want more thrills. So you have to keep on upgrading and upgrading and upgrading to get people those.
Right. So basically what you're saying is now that we all know Skynet to be real, that Terminator 2 Judgment Day, which was made back in 1992, had it right all along. And one of these days it's going to be the war of the machines. That's what I'm hearing.
This virtual reality that they're promoting now, where you have this life, virtual life. Remember that movie Gamer? Like literally, no one left their house.
Yeah, Ready Player One.
Yeah, and all you do is sit there in your gaming chair and you live your life as your character.
Yep.
I mean, you can be if you ever want to do that.
I just kind of want to point out something as well to that little ounce of conspiracy that you just dropped upon us. In that movie, Ready Player One, the virtual connection that they were using, man, is it just me? that notice that it looks an awful lot like the Oculus?
Yep.
And now we have the Oculus 2 and all these other things, and it's like, yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna sit there and let that be the way to life to where I don't want to leave my house. I'm just going like, no. But it's like the movie Demolition Man, or was it Demolition Man or Judge Dredd?
Oh, great movie. Great movie. Great plug, bro. Great plug.
I said it's just a matter of time. Matter of time.
All right. Well, we're going to step away again for a message from our sponsors. We'll be right back with the final thoughts on tonight's podcast with Keeping It Real with Big Boy Life. Right after these messages.
Yeah. That's right, everybody. Thank you for listening into the podcast. This is your boy, Big Boy. This podcast is brought to you and sponsored by Terra Jersey Enterprise. Terra Jersey Enterprise will hook you up with some custom shirts. Also, Terra Jersey Photography, capturing your moments of today to make them last for a lifetime. But like I said, this podcast is brought to you by Terra Jersey Enterprise. Oh, lady.
What's going on, everybody? We're back to this podcast. We want to thank you all for taking time out of your day to tune in and listen to us, and just have a little bit of time in your life for the Big Boy Live podcast featuring the man, the myth, the legend, Professor X.
And that boy.
We've had an amazing podcast tonight. Absolutely a great one to pick up on, after suffering technical difficulties as we have the last 3 weeks. We've only been able to get one other podcast in. So we want to appreciate you guys for being patient with us. The podcast website wasn't working or communicating with us for whatever reason, but we just want to throw a shout out to all the listeners, the people who take time out of their day to join and become a part of our family, and just listen to two guys who are just keeping it real. That's just the best we can do. And with that being said, thank you to our sponsors, Terra Jersey Studios, Terra Jersey Photography, Terra Jersey. What is that? The new one, Big Boy?
Jersey fits. Clothing actually fits.
So with that being said, I'm gonna throw our closing thoughts out to my friend, because he's got to go to work today. I don't. Haha. You want to keep talking. You want to keep talking and keep going with this Pizzle cast, we can. But I just saw the time and I was thinking of you. So I'll throw this off to you, and you can either start a new topic or you can take us out.
I appreciate that, Professor Ed. No, I just think that sometimes we need little reminders that, hey, sometimes it's good is to keep it to the bases. Go back to back in the day where it wasn't that bad. Hence halftime show. You know, it took us back. You know, back when hip hop was actually hip hop was really it meant something. It had a story. It had a meaning to it. Just like how my life can be. Sometimes you gotta take things back. You know, and just recollect how things were in the past. Because sometimes you can take that and learn from it. You know, and there's also too you gotta be ready to evolve with the times. If not, you get left behind. And some can are perfectly fine with being a step behind. Some can't. But the ultimate thing is that you gotta make that choice. The choice is always gonna be yours, not someone else's. Jake?
Yeah, I got to agree with that. Tonight's halftime show really resonated with anyone between the age of 45 to 35. Um, it was literally a throwback for the centuries. Um, Obviously, the throwback being the fact that it took us back to our formative years,
Mm-hmm.
where we were listening to music, we were trying to find and discover ourselves and who we were and who we wanted to be. And one of the things that does not ever get enough credit is the fact how music can shape, change, mold your life.
Right.
A lot of the stuff that we've gone through, a lot of the stuff that we've been through, a lot of the quote unquote generational defining moments have been based off of a lot of the music that we come from. I don't want to sit here and go so far as to say that, just because of a specific type or genre of music, that's who you choose to be as a person, or you're that influenced to the fact that, it removes your own individual wants and efforts. What I'm saying is people oftentimes forget that music is one of those core things that just touches people in the very depths of their soul. Music is
Mhm.
gone. I mean, if I don't know how many of our viewers or listeners are religious. I mean, you can pick up a Bible and you can go back into the Old Testament, into biblical times, and hear how David danced before the Lord.
Ooh.
David danced before the Lord. David Lord with his song of worship and praise. And it was the music that touched David's heart that night, that got David to dance with all of his might in front of the Lord. Music
You
is
know what's so
very.
funny about that? Not trying to cut you off, but that's what our church sermon was about today. Was about worshiping, and he was talking about David.
Well, unfortunately, in the Bible, um, during the story of David, that was one of, oh gosh, biblical scholars are going to kill me for this, but I believe that was only one of like 3 or 4 times that music was referenced. I know about the Old Testament and Joshua marching the Israelites around the walls of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down to the music and everything that they were doing. Um, and then David dancing before the Lord. But I do apologize, because after that, nothing jumps off the page. And I have read that thing cover to cover, 7 or 8 times in my lifetime. There's always references in Revelation. There's references to the sound of trumpets announcing the coming. Trumpets are a musical instrument, so that's one of the things that I use as a reference point for music being mentioned in the Bible. But music has been a part of our heritage for as long as any of us can remember, and
Right.
it was so wonderful to have that throwback today. I'm not going to sit here and say that that was the greatest Super Bowl show that I've ever seen, because it wasn't. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what I will say is it was the one that I've seen in the last several years that has oh my gosh, generation Ali. I don't think that's a word, but I think you know what I'm getting at. It was something that was able to link one generation to the new generation. It was something something that came out with Generation X, and it was something that the millennials got to share in with today with us Generation X people. And it was a bridge building type of thing, a gap defining moment. And I was happy to be a part of it. And I just want to encourage everybody, don't ever stray too far away from the music, because no matter what you're going through in your life, there's always going to be that one song. There's always going to be that one artist. There's always going to be that one riff or beat that gets dropped. That's going to take you to the best version of yourself. So with that being said, I want to thank Big Boy for the podcast this evening, for staying up late with his man X, and just allowing us to get out there and spread the word again. If you're going through anything, if you're struggling, reach out to both of us. If you've listened to the podcast, we have listed our information on here several times. You can get a hold of us anytime. You are not alone. Do not ever give up. Do not ever give in. Do not ever surrender. Reach out, and we will help you get through it. Thank you for your time, sir. Always a pleasure.
Yes, sir.
And in the words of our man, Jerry Springer, former governor of Cincinnati, Ohio, take care of yourselves and each other.
And yes, everybody have a great, great rest of your day. To the Big